Can you hear us now?
Everybody speak up. It's really hard to hear back here.
Hey, Nelly, headphones.
Okay, the first sign up for public comment is Alan Meisman. Please come and state your name and address for the record. Happy Veterans Day, Alan.
Happy Veterans Day.
My name is Richard West, Baltimore. I misspell your name and the way you're informed me, so it may not be you. At the Baltimore City Council meeting, Eric made multiple references to civil rights violations by the city of Baltimore City Council members. My personal experience in Washington County is that civil rights have been run over and plowed under. I paid to have my boundary survey done twice, and the city of Walsenburg surveyor taken it once recently. Each time, John Galuccia has taken it on himself to plow them out. The last time, he brought a loader and took out the original Cedar Coast barbed wire fence that was on the property line and piled it up. So, I have material for years, but no fence. Carl Young will not return that call. He's advised. I thought civil rights have been violated repeatedly. This board of commissioners, and especially by Commissioner John Galuccia. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Commissioners, I have received no phone calls from Al Meisman.
That's okay. I have not brought up, I've not.
You haven't taken the letter out?
No.
Yeah.
Chris Smith. Morning, please state your name and address for the record.
Let's see if this works. Nope, no working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Smith, 1120 Panadero Avenue. Representing the Cacharo Foundation, and just wanted to reiterate that we are interested in having the park back, if that is the possibility. If not, then I see that we're still having a problem with GoCo, and on a definitive answer, I'd like to propose that that is tabled until we get an actual definitive answer from GoCo. Okay.
Okay.
And I showed up early for the meeting that you guys had, and I do not envy your jobs at all.
That was an easy one.
If anybody wants to see what the county has to go through on a day-to-day basis, show up early and listen to the staff meeting. Wow.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else that has not signed up for public comment? Anyone online that's interested in public comment? Okay, next would be appointments. Honoring elders and youngers, Sandy Dola.
Again? Oh, she typed yes. Yes.
Come on. You gotta read my shirt.
I like it.
Does that describe me? So,
Successful squirrels. Successful squirrels.
I get a lot done.
Mhm.
So. This morning. 400 of these is just fun for me. And this one I'll tell you, this one's particularly fun, and wait till you see what I'm doing next. But anyway, sometimes people on the list just come up over and over and over, and we're trying to choose good people. And this month, I'm honoring Larry Moore, and he's our veterinarian. He's been our veterinarian out in, Libya for how many years? 26, I was gonna say 27, I was close. And he certainly isn't a 9 to 5 veterinarian. He was on call all the time. And one of the really neat things is people will tell you now that from social media, well, call Larry, call Larry, call Larry. And everybody called Larry, and everybody had really good care. And one of the things that Larry has done that has taken a toll, I think, on him, whether he admits it or not, but he put so many animals down in such a kind and loving way. I don't know how many of our critters did he help cross over that rainbow bridge, but that's hard. And Larry and I have cried over this. He's not impassionate about making that happen. He's just done all sorts of things. And finally this year he said, I really am gonna retire. People still say, well, maybe Larry will just do this one more little thing, just one more little thing. And Jeannie, his wife, has been his helpmate and veterinarian assistant and surgical assistant for a long time too. And Jeannie's in the hospital. She's doing well. She's supposed to be come home on Thursday, so we need to send some good juju to Jeannie. In doing our animal theme this month, there's been other veterinarians that have done a lot of good stuff. Maybe not as good as Larry, but we're a little biased. We also sent thank you certificates and acknowledgement out to John and Patty Davis, to Muffin, to Margaret Heck, and Ken Hay, and then some of the good vet techs have been around for a long time. Lynn Green, who's now at the hospital, but she's taken a whole lot of care of my animals in the middle of the night. Sometimes I don't call Larry, I call Lynn. Brenda Eeks, Rebecca and Lenny. There's one more on the list. Oh, Susan Ireland, Margie Durham. These are all people that helped us, that are now in that elder category, that have helped us with the critters. So that's my friend Larry Moore. Thank you, Larry. And then this is my new friend. This is Phoenix Herzog. And I'll just bet none of you know about Phoenix Herzog. Her mom sent me a letter that I didn't have time to read, but she says, Phoenix Cora Camille, my sunshine. Phoenix has come from so many things in a short time on this earth so far, and she's so many marvelous plans for the rest of it. I met Phoenix out at Montoya Sheep Ranch when we were doing the adobe restoration project, and fell in love with the family. Fell in love with her. Now, I'm kind of notorious for liking teenagers, but some I like better than others. And she rose right to the top. She was out there, she pitched in, she helped with everything. We talked about a little about philosophy, about her philosophy of caring for animals, which I was so touched with. She was going to do 4-H this year with this deer. I decided that wasn't for her. She thought that she could feed her steer more healthy for both in terms of the steer and in terms of what we would have as an end product with our steer. So I was real impressed with that. She was good with the critters. She has 2 little sisters that are adorable. Tesla, who tells you, I'm not named after the car, I'm named after the man. And her little sister, Resilience, they call Silly Zilly. She pitched in everything. She saw what needed to be done. She helped serve people. She made adobe. She plastered the wall. Just loved everything about her. She's homeschooled. She has, you're taking double credit classes right now, right?
I'm doing some college classes.
You know, she's doing some college credit classes and all that. And she's just the smartest, sweetest, kindest young woman I've met in a long, long time. So I thought this would be fun to introduce her to the community, to the county, and to you guys. So this is Phoenix Herzog. Nice to meet you.
Me too.
Thank you very much. There's my letter. Thank you. And I'm gonna do, let's see, some big deal. You can change that there. One for Larry. And I think you guys have all seen what we do. our wisdom archives, that I have permission to use your county commissioner emblem and one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aren't they great?
Yeah.
Oops. You're so welcome. I love you. So, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's nice to meet you. Okay.
Love that bunch.
You're supposed to be up here.
Yes, you are. Oh, well, I could. Yes, I could. You move over because I need to be taller than him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And messages. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, the 2024 budget hearing will be our next item. Mr. Young.
Commissioners, on about a month or so ago, I presented you your preliminary budget for calendar year 2024. Since then, we have progressed through most of our budget hearings, with one more this afternoon for the district attorney's office and the health department. Thank you. Usually we have this hearing after all of those, but between not wanting to have it on Thanksgiving and sort of the condensed schedule we found ourselves in this year, it is before. Members of the public are welcome and open to comment on the county's budget for every county commissioner meeting between when the preliminary budget is presented and when the budget is actually adopted. But for the purpose of this hearing, the main question is an organized time for people to come and give comment on the budget. So I request that you take comment on the 2024 budget from the public.
Okay, so this budget hearing is open and we will take any public comments on the 2024 Huerfano County budget. It's pretty skinny, just so you know. Anyone online, please raise your hand if you wish to have comments. Any comments from the commissioners? I want to say thank you for all the work that you have put into it, all of you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the other elected officials being willing to take a look and see where they could cut. This is not going to be pretty.
Commissioners, I'll be presenting you a supplemental budget for calendar year 2023 at the December 12th meeting, which is the same meeting where we plan to adopt the budget.
Thank you.
Anything else for the public hearing for the 2024 Huerfano County budget? Okay, I'll close that hearing. Moving into land use.
Different language.
Nothing. Action items.
All right. Commissioners, first I have for you a purchase order numbered 170 for Wagner Equipment Company. This is for a new clutch and installation for unit 394, a 2007 International semi truck.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve purchase order 170 in the amount of $3,485.41.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Ojeda,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you the replacement water lease agreement for both, for the county. This is for both GPID and Road and Bridge. The amount, this is for the year beginning, water year beginning, I believe, November 30th. Let me scroll through the amount again.
November 1.
November 1, 2023 to October 31st, 2024. This is for set for a total of 10 acre feet. In the amount of $3,577 per acre foot, total of $35,770.
Plus the administrative fee of $1,481 for a total administrative fee of $14,812.30.
Correct.
Page is that on?
124.
Under lease price and administrative fees.
I would make a motion to approve the augmentation lease with the Huerfano County Water Conservancy District in combination for Huerfano County and GPID in the amount of $35,770 for a lease of 10 acre feet, as well as the administration fee in the amount of $14,812.30.
Second that.
I'm sorry, do you need a turn?
No.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I would just note that in past years, we have done this as two separate leases. This year, we combined them into one lease. So that makes it a lot easier. We don't have to flip back and forth between if we use too much for Road and Bridge or too much for Gardner Water. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Ojeda,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you a change order from McKinstry in the amount of $12,731.20. This is for the courthouse gutter repair. So currently, the gutters from the courthouse run down into the ground and then out to the sidewalk. We're going to keep that same system. However, part of those lines are clay lines. So this change order will replace the clay lines with PVC, because those clay lines are breaking. That's why if you walk outside, you'll see a lot of dirt accumulated right in the gutter on the street, because that's dirt coming into those clay lines and being pushed out. We also had to, Roto-Rooter had to come in and clean out those lines so they were functioning correctly.
Make a motion to for the change order request to pay the to McKinsey Essington for the amount of $12,731.20.
Second, for the purpose of discussion.
I have a
Is-
motion and a second. Discussion.
Is this a part of the energy project?
Yes.
And so the contingency will cover this, so it's a change order, but it's still covered within the scope of the original bid.
It is covered by the, I believe this is covered by the contingency. I need to get an update of sort of where the contingency fund is. So I don't want to promise you that it is, but I think there's something that needs to be done in order for this building to function correctly.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Ojeda,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have a second change order request for McKinstry, also for the energy performance contracting project. This is for the Gardner Well 1 electrical protection. The total amount is $6,520.84. So commissioners, this part of the original contract, there's an old electric unit heater, which was to be removed and replaced with a wall receptacle. There's chemical corrosion to the interior of the building. And the current condition of that panel caused by that water treatment, Public Electric recommends, instead of putting that unit, those plugs on the inside, putting them on the outside.
Because of the chemicals inside the building?
Yeah, like that building stores a bunch of chemicals, bunch of corrosive elements.
Mhm.
And basically it's safer for that electrical to be outside of the building than be inside the building.
Make a motion for the change order request for the same McKinsey Essington for the Gardner Well electrical protection to be changed in the amount of $6,520.84.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spruill,
Yes.
Chair Maglucia,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, at our last meeting, I believe you asked us to bring back the law enforcement kitchen design engineering proposal. I think we should have actually brought it back. As I think about it, we should probably actually brought it back in our next meeting after this one. So unless you want to act on this now, we'll bring it back after we have our conversation with Los Angeles County this afternoon.
I'm not opposed to making a motion contingent on our discussion with Los Angeles County this afternoon. However, I really hate to see a 19,500 design for a kitchen that should be similar in cost. So I don't know what our other alternatives are, or if someone wants to take the lead on this project, but the kitchen shouldn't be that, or maybe double that. So we're paying 19,500 just for the design seems a lot. That's my opinion.
So I tend to agree with you on the cost. However, because this is a jail, I'm a little bit concerned about liability if one of us take the lead on it. That would be my concern.
Mhm.
Because if we do something, I mean, a piece of range hood they can take off and use for a 9-4,
I see.
something. So I would be a little concerned. Is all.
And the installers of the kitchen aren't willing to do the design?
We don't have installers.
So what is their plan?
To-
In Peachtree?
Hopefully come up with drawings and then hopefully use that to find an installer.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
we spent a couple months trying to find an installer. It didn't work.
I'd make a motion to approve the engineering design proposal for Peachtree in the amount of $19,500 in the event that the negotiations with Los Angeles County today do not move forward with an agreement of transporting prisoners to Trinidad for the time being.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second discussion. Would you consider adding just negotiation with the hospital as well for food services?
Absolutely.
Because I know that they're struggling. If we could even give them a little bit more money for meals, it might save us some and give us some too. So if you
Sure. Absolutely. And we will also, prior to moving forward with the project, have negotiations with the Spanish Creek Regional Health Center to cater the meals moving forward.
So is there a second for that before
I'd second that.
Okay, a motion second discussion.
Yeah.
So when we get to these multi-layered contingency, I think, my recommendation to you is let's just bring this back and let's have those conversations and not approve a contingent on this and this and this.
It's not gonna hold it up over the holidays.
At the end of the day, no, because you're not gonna sign this until you get all those contingencies worked out. So it still doesn't hold anything up. Because we wouldn't have you sign it and send it back to them until we are fully green lit.
Found out from
So would
everybody
you like to switch that motion to an approval and then the rest is a staff direction?
No, I'd just rather bring it back to you.
That's fine.
Yeah, like not approve it.
else. Okay.
That way we can have the conversation you want to have. And we can decide. And at the end of the day, we're talking to the health department today as well, so we can talk to them about this entire situation and asked them for some, I already have asked them for an extension. But I don't want you to sign something and then something is forgotten or we
Sure.
missed the step or,
Yeah.
So this has been tabled for now.
So
Or we should
we
vote
have a
now.
motion and a second with, so either you can withdraw your motion in second, or we can vote on that.
I'll withdraw the motion.
I'll withdraw.
Okay, we have that withdrawn, so there is no action.
Thanks.
Okay. And we'll bring that back to you once we finish once we're ready, once we finish those expressions.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, we brought this to you last meeting. You want some more time to think about the DocuSign subscription. What is your preference here? Or do you want some more time to think about this?
You're gonna take a look at the budget. The final budget numbers before we address this.
So the subscription does end at the end of the month. So we can do that, but it means you won't have it for a period of time. I mean,
So I'm good with wet signatures, but that's paper. You have the paper anyway.
But it's paper and ink and time.
Yeah. For me personally, but I don't know how much other DocuSign you have.
Can I speak?
Please identify yourself.
Advice to you is that in productivity, I think the cost that we get saves us in productivity of having to do everything paper.
There are actually other online signing document applications that, you know, might be looked into.
that's true too.
I mean, my opinion, $2,400 is not a lot of money. But where do you start? Gotta start somewhere saving money, right?
Right.
So I'm not personally in favor of this.
I think that your cost of paper and printing is gonna be pretty similar. You don't think?
Oh, and time.
Well, it's all, these are already
Time is money.
printed, right?
You don't have us print these out anymore. We haven't printed these out
It's true.
in the last couple of years.
But these all get printed, don't they? All of these things that are on here.
No.
You have one, you don't have one paper copy of any of this?
From the standpoint, we can email you a document to sign. But it does become more time consuming if the document needs 3 signatures, so I can send it to 3 people. But whoever gets it, let's say Erica, she needs to print it out, sign it, scan it back in, and it only has her signature on it. And then you would do the same, and then Carl would do the same.
And the amount of time
So
involved.
the paper and the email it's doable, but it is more resource intensive.
So what we used to do was have a book with
Right,
the original stuff that we just passed it around.
right, and Natalie was the one that went through that process. So it would be her.
I think it's both productivity, but it's also the supplies of the paper, the amount of paper that you're printing out too. I was resistant to this at the beginning, just because I was resistant to change, but it made a huge difference in productivity and the amount of paper that office downstairs goes through.
And if you'd like, what we can do is so the reason why this is DocuSign is because SIPA has DocuSign. That's the only reason why. We can explore other options and see if they are cheaper.
And you wanna make sure they have
Security type.
exactly, you have
Yeah.
an ability to see an IP address to see if it was fraudulently signed, so that's built in with DocuSign. It might not be built in with others.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the name of 4 online other document signing applications that might be worth checking into. Their ratings were equal to DocuSign 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
DocuSign is way more used. I think it'd be worth checking into.
And we keep it cost price with SIPA, is that correct?
That's my understanding.
That's enough.
Because they're part of that program, so we can reduce rate.
That's my understanding. I don't know how big a reduction it is, but in theory.
I would make a motion to approve DocuSign in amount of not to exceed $2,474.28. But prior to signing that agreement, encourage staff to research the other options and see if anything is more financially feasible.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Sporliter,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
I'm gonna go no on this one.
motion passes.
Okay, next item.
All right, Commissioners, next I have for you memorandum of understanding between Huerfano County and Prowers County for the Prowers Hotline Connection Center to answer and process child welfare and adult protective services calls. This agreement will be effective from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. The estimated total is $2,256. So what this will do is allow someone else to take the initial calls in for adult protection and child protection. So instead of our staff taking those calls when they come in, we'll be able to sort of streamline our workflow. So basically we get the full report and then we follow up on it versus the time it takes us to take the report. My understanding it's 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the situation.
And this will be 24-hour.
Yes, my understanding is the 24-hour service.
Thank you. I really appreciate you looking into this. I know our workers are overworked and exhausted, so I think this will be a huge help for them to get a break.
I would love to take the credit, but this is all Dreama.
Great. Thank you.
Is this eligible for 80% reimbursement?
I don't know enough about the rules, but I would assume so.
But it's paid through DHS budget.
Yeah.
Make a motion for the the memo of understanding between Huerfano County and Prowers. And for the period of January to December 24. In the amount of $2,256.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Commissioner Sporliter,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you, and this is in, I should fix the order here, a letter of engagement for between the county and Ryan LLC. This is for federal income tax consulting services for Inflation Reduction Act energy incentives. So through the Inflation Reduction Act, we are eligible for what are typically tax incentives, but the IRS, instead of giving us a tax credit, which we as a government can't use because we don't pay taxes, they are going to just pay us that amount. What Ryan LLC will do for us is basically put together all the paperwork, put together all of the supporting documentation, have it ready for the auditor, or for anyone else that needs that answer, that if the IRS or someone else asks a question about it, to verify everything. So the total cost of this is $15,000. And the estimated incentives we could receive are, I want to say $141,000.
The low income bonus is valued at 41 roughly, is what I see.
Right. And that's the main piece that needs extra help. And so how we've sort of thought about this is the low income bonus is paying for it. So they is paying for the service. We get that low income bonus that pays for the cost of the service.
Make a motion to approve the agreement with Ryan LLC, low income solar panel direct pay credits in the amount of $15,000.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second discussion. So the photovoltaic project cost of 441,000 is included in the energy audit project. Is that
Correct.
accurate? Okay.
And this, so the these direct pay tax credits without the low income is almost our full first year payment. With it, it is, I think, definitely our full first payment for the entire project for next year.
Okay. Any others? Have a motion, a second, call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, next I have a change order for Mountain Masonry in the amount of $21,882,000. This is to replace water table stones with radius tops located above the garden level windows on the south side of the east elevation. This has been approved by History Colorado. There will be some contingency that covers some of this, but I think most of this will be out of pocket for us.
He said that's Mountain Mason.
Not masonry.
What is the purpose of the change?
So those, I don't know that they, when Hain Architect did it on the very bottom layer of stone is wider and has a rounded top. I don't think they included those in the original bid on that corner.
Gotcha. Make a motion to approve the cost proposal for Mountain Masonry in the amount of $21,882.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, Commissioners, the county has been awarded a Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A planning grant for the U.S. Department of Transportation. And this is a request to accept that award. The total project cost is $177,100. And if awarded, the county would need to provide $35,420 in matching funds. I have reached out to the Department of Local Affairs for assistance with some or all of the required matching funds. They got back to me yesterday, and they usually like to do higher amounts for their infrastructure match project, but they have agreed to fund to help us with the match. I'm not sure how much they're gonna help us with yet, but I'll be submitting the application in the coming days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the very fun. The Safe Streets and Roads for. Sorry, he has the wrong button. It's federal grant on with the total project cost for $177,100, which our share is the $35,420.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Thank you for your work on this, Carl. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, we have been awarded a DOLA Energy and Mineral Assistance Fund grant in the amount of $3,669,750 to assist with the remodel of 129 Kansas to a dispatch center and emergency operations center. The total cost of this project is estimated at $4,893,000. The county has saved almost $1 million for this project over the last several years. And we are applying for grants to cover the remaining matching funds. So we request your approval of this award.
Congratulations. It's a big accomplishment.
Thanks for I think everyone was there either virtually or in person. I think the baby won it for us.
Yep, for sure. The motion to accept the award in the amount of $3,669,750 from DOLA Energy and Mineral Impact Assistance Fund Program for the 129 Kansas EOC dispatcher model in the amount of $3,669,750 with an additional $1,223,250 in matching funds.
Discussion. Just a note for those in attendance, Huerfano County, there was $75 million in funds available in this last round. Huerfano County took almost 10% of those funds by itself. So $7.5 million coming to Huerfano County, City of Walsenburg, and Town of Levita. So congratulations to Huerfano round. We're actually going to be the featured in this next newsletter from DOLA.
And
So-
to expand on that, the EOC was projected to cost 10 million new.
Yeah,
So we were able to repurpose an existing building and bring that fund down or that cost down to about 5 million. So half the cost, hopefully fully grant funded.
call for the vote, please.
All right, Commissioner Sporter,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrade,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. So commissioners, you might remember earlier this year, McKinstry presented us with the architectural and engineering design services for this project. Earlier this year, you approved 75,000 for like the first phase of that work, with a note to bring this back to you once we were awarded to complete everything up to construction documents. So the funds that we've been awarded are essentially for construction only. So what I have for you is a purchase order, or change to purchase order numbered 145, to add an additional $93,450 to this purchase order for McKinstry, for task 3, 4, and 5, related to the to this project.
The total for 3, 4, and 5.
$93,450.
You need a total project cost as well.
Mainly just the change, the authorization to proceed. But if you want to do the full project cost, it's $168,450. As you can see on the bottom of the PO, we've only spent 35,000 of what was previously authorized so far.
Make a motion to accept the updated purchase order 145 for 129 Kansas Design and Engineering. The change will be $93,450 for a total project cost of $168,450.
I second that.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Sporter,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrade,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, commissioners, next we've also been awarded a DOLA Energy Impact Grant in the amount of 1.5 million to assist with funding the phase 2 remodel of the Fox Theater Walsenburg. And this is a request to accept that award. The cost estimate for this project is approximately $2 million. The scope of work includes marquee canopy rehabilitation, masonry rehabilitation, foundation drainage rehabilitation, fire escape rehabilitation, a youth top replacement unit, unit replacement, switching from the current swamp cooler to a direct cooling system, installation of 15 kilowatts of solar panels, stage lighting and curtains, and as well as related design, engineering, and archaeological monitoring. The Fox Theater has applied for a Colorado grant. They'll provide another 250 in matching funds. And we're working with the Fox to apply for more grants to cover the remaining match.
And this is in addition to phase 1.
Yes.
And phase 1 was.
Phase one is the roof. And so the things that had to be done to the roof, that's ongoing now. So phase 2 is the rest of the state of good repair project that we split, and basically modernizing the interior of the theater.
Including the seats.
Including the seats.
Thank you.
Well, the seats on the main level are gone now, so there will certainly be new seats.
Yep.
Make a motion to accept the phase 2 project and grants. And I lost that page. Is that also McKinsey 3.
No, it's page 177. McKinstry is part of this project, but at this point, we're just accepting the award.
Okay, I was making a motion to accept the award. From Dola Energy and Assistance Grant. For the phase 2 remodel of the Fox Theater.
Second,
Have a motion and a second, discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Najera,
yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes,
Chair Maglucia,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a request for an extension for the phase 1 project. We expect the phase 1 project to be substantially complete before Christmas. But, you know, the old saying, what can go wrong will go wrong. And that's proven true already on this project. So the request for an extension is mainly to make sure that everything gets in and billed and done before that grant closes out. I would say when I wrote this, I'd say we're about 20%. We're expecting the actual roofers to come and do the roof any day now. So
Have they repaired the structural issues?
they've ordered the steel. So they are working on the structural issues and then the roof as well. So right now, the materials to repair the structural issues are actually sitting on the roof. It's a bit weird, but yeah.
Motion to approve the letter requesting an extension for the EIAF 9251 Huerfano County Fox Theater Phase 1 renovation.
second that.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes,
Commissioner Najera,
Yes.
Chair Maglucia,
Yes.
motion passes. If you want to go and see the theater, the entire ceiling is shored up. Like I sent you some poorly lit
Yeah.
photos a couple days
So-
ago,
Mhm,
yeah.
but it's interesting in there.
I bet.
All right, Commissioner, next I have a liquor license renewal for Investor Group Grandotti LLC.
So they are their first year renewal as a new business, and everything has been great on reports back. I've checked with dispatch as well and then Bruce Newman. Everything checks back good. They've already paid everything to state and what was due to county. So they're good to go on today's meeting.
motion to approve the liquor license renewal for the hotel and restaurant on,
No hotel.
oh, I thought that's on the page. Application.
So it's the way they applied Reed's Hotel and Restaurant because they have. The way Grandotti Golf Course is built, they have housing on the golf course, plus there is part of the Levita, town of Levita, part county. So it's the way they had to apply for it, how it reads.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the Grandotti liquor license renewal application. Liquor license number 03-17706.
Second,
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Najera,
yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes,
Chair Maglucia,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a bulk water permit, for Nicole Sutterth. On 10/31, you guys approved a water tap for this property. There was some miscommunication about the cost of that water tap. So after receiving the corrected costs, this application for a bulk water permit was submitted.
So you're revoking the tap permit?
So I would actually request that you guys do that. the other part of this that's interesting is that she paid a fee for the bulk water, or the water tap permit. I don't think that that has an application fee. So I'd request that she only be charged $150 fee for the bulk water application.
What has she already paid?
I know she paid for the water tap. I'm not certain if she paid for the bulk water as well, but
Is it the
it should just
same
be,
amount?
it should have been 0 on the water tap and $50 on the bulk water.
But she already paid 50.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
so just
So
a.
she paid more.
So I believe, and you can check this, but I believe that in the Gardner PID operating policy manual, it says, and this is a requirement of our grant also, if the address for the service is within the district boundary, they have to connect to the water. They don't have an option of using bulk water. So if they're in that district boundary, if this address is in that district boundary, it has to be a tap.
Is it?
It's certainly within the boundaries. I haven't seen a good map of them, but I know about where the water lines go, and this is inside Core Gardner. So,
Yeah, and I'm certain that that's what it says in our policies, and I'm almost positive that that's what the grant says. So I'm gonna ask we don't take any action on this until we get more clear information.
yeah, we can bring back to you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioners, next I have a request from Parks and Rec, from County Parks and Rec, for various purchases related to 611 Main Gym project. $2,500 for Camden LVP. $2,100 for labor. This is for Greg Bobby of Legends Flooring. Total of $4,600. Steel plates for the freeway areas, total of $2,840.60 from Penrose Steel and Tubing, and $6,369 for drop ceiling panels, FRP molding with glue, FRP with molding and glue, ceiling fans, trim, door handles, all from Lowe's.
What did they do with the drop ceiling panels they took off?
I believe those were tossed.
Okay.
I did see some of them remaining, but
So they did keep what they could.
Hmm.
They salvaged what they could.
that's my understanding. I know I saw some when I went in there on Saturday. I don't think I saw enough to complete that job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the items listed for the 611 Main Gym purchases for the interior of the building.
I second that.
A motion and a second. Can we put a maximum of $13,809 on that motion? please?
Did you total it? What is it, 13?
13,809.
With a max amount of 13,809.
I agree, second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Over the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andreetta,
Yes.
Chairman Lucia.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, last but not least, I have this is a form to extend our underfunded courthouse grant for this year. We have not been invoiced for the security work that's been done so far. That bothers me a little bit. Sometimes state agencies are very good about, oh yeah, if the work was done then, you paid it later, you can be reimbursed. Sometimes the payment has happened during the grant period. So I just requested an extension till June 30th of next year. We're also still waiting on Otis elevator. Um. When I think about it, there should have been a deal in here for, that is not, okay, we'll deal with that later. For Otis Elevator, for getting the elevator working. So we're waiting on that portion of it. Convergent has their piece into us. Otis, we're still waiting on. So that's the one of the last major pieces that needs to be completed still. And then also the sound panels. We've put up some sound panels. But we still have some more work to do there. I would say the sound panels that we put up are temporary, because the actual ones that we submit to the grant were more detailed with engineer drawings, so.
Make a motion to approve the requested end date of June 30th of 2024.
Second,
Have a motion, a second. In discussion. Call for vote, please.
Commissioner Guerra,
yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes,
motion passes. And that is the end of action items.
thank you very much. Staff reports. Carl.
Nothing for me today. Actually, I will say we did have interviews for the housing developer last week, the housing developer last week, and then yesterday for Charter Mountain Park.
Lisa?
I believe we have a call with Stan today immediately after this meeting, just so you're aware of it.
So we have a need for executive session.
Yes.
So we had a call with Stan earlier this morning.
You hadn't walked in yet. John and I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So we have no need for executive session.
Correct.
Asking on behalf of Editor Seaver.
Yes, please.
Isn't that at 1?
No, that's budget hearing.
One
Oh,
cost of budget
whatever.
hearing.
Come, state your name and address for the record, please.
Ken Clayton, 711 Panadero Loop. I am with Panadero Ski Corp, treasurer of the board. First, I owe you guys a couple of thank yous. We appreciate you letting us leave our assets on the park until the decision is made, either on ownership or concessionaire. Additionally, we appreciate you guys bringing us in yesterday to meet with Carl and his interview team. We feel good about what we presented, but there's still some outlying issues. I stood up here 2 months ago and asked to be included in a conversation with the state tram board because we're all receiving different conflicting information. And I still would like that opportunity because like your attorney, I also talk to them frequently. And what I'm being told is different than what she is being told. And so we just want that opportunity. We feel that we have addressed everything they've asked us. We have self-reported several things. Yeah. I don't know what that was, but he's not with us.
I think when he came in, he was unmuted.
Okay.
You might have to kick him out.
We look forward to sitting down with you guys and the attorney at some point and talking through what we're being alleged of, or what the allegations are against us, because you know, we feel that we have a good defense, and in our communication with the tram board, we've explained everything that they've been asked or they've been told and we've been asked about. So we look forward to that. We would like that opportunity because you know, I think we did a pretty good job presenting ourselves and who we are and what we're doing up there yesterday. And, more importantly, I mean, we've been sitting waiting to work on that park for 2 months now.
As they do.
And we feel like we're losing time for this winter. You know, we would like to get back to work. Everything that you guys have asked of Carl, Carl's asked of us, and we've satisfied all those requests to get back to work. Whether we run the lift or not, we still need to work up there. So that's where we stand. We would like the opportunity even to bring our board in and sit down with you, or just a couple of us, whatever you prefer. But we feel like we haven't been able to talk to you guys specifically.
Well, I would this is my perspective, and I'm not speaking for the board. I would encourage you, the Pandora Ski Corp, to work very closely with the Kachara Foundation to see if GoCo, if we get a resolution from GoCo, my desire is to not own this park. That's not the same desire as.
I hear that. So,
So that's just my thought.
yeah, and we have been in constant contact with the Kachara Foundation. It's a small community up there. We all know each other. We obviously would prefer if they got the park back. We feel that that was the intent. So I talked to the original people who raised the money to get the park to donate to you guys. And I asked the question of why they donated it. And they got some bad advice, and that they were told they should never take possession of that park because of possible contamination, mitigation issues up there. I work in that industry. I know there's grants available for multiple mitigation sites, so they feel like they were given the wrong information and should have held the park. And we would absolutely love to work for them. I will tell you that we would love to work for you too. 2 years ago, I stood up here as a citizen supporting Moss Group, not because of Moss Group. I didn't, it wasn't because of them, but it's because we live at the base of that park. We wanted something to happen up there. We just want to see, if it's not a lift, it's our ski bus. We have the ability to make snow. We've been working with the water district to make snow, to get permission to do that. And we just feel, we see it like slipping away from this winter, and we've raised a ton of money from the local community up there, and they see it slipping away from this winter also. But we would love to sit down with you if you guys need us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Field, please. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is James Littlefield. I live at 58 Cedar Ridge in Kachara. And I'm speaking not for Panadero Ski Corp or the Kachara Foundation, but as a citizen. But I've been involved, as some of you know, with the park from the outset. I would like the public to know what brain trust amongst this august group, and I'm speaking of the 3 commissioners and the administrator, decided to cost the Panadero Ski Corp 2 months of preparation for our winter activities at the park. It's going to be devastating to the community and the people that enjoy that park in the winter if they can't enjoy it this winter. And there are a lot of good people, volunteers that get nothing, that have worked hard to get it ready. But 2 months ago, based on innuendo and hearsay, as near as we can figure out, that you folks took the action to say cease and desist on that lift. Then we were told, get the assets ready, get them out of there by the end of the MOU. So they dutifully switched over, moved everything down by the gates. I passed out pictures of that 2 weeks ago. When you tabled the notion or the motion that was made about making a decision on that, while you gather more information, we'll take it up this week. It's not even on the agenda. PSC will now have to do heavy work out in winter conditions, if we finally get the authorization to go ahead and do so. That could have easily been avoided if you had, just as the treasurer just asked a few minutes ago, would have spoken with them. But no, you're inquiring minds with other people who we think are giving you bad information. As I shared 2 weeks ago as an example, 1,200 feet of snowmaking pipe was paid for with donation monies and delivered over a month ago. It could have been buried then, but no, orders were given to switch over, move the equipment out, get ready to get out of there. We have safety concerns. That was about the general statement about what was going on up there. And I just think that's absolutely shameful. And showing that array of equipment to you you equivocally capitulated and said, okay, fine, you can leave your equipment there for now while we figure out what to do. That was my recollection from the last Board of County Commissioners meeting. So another 2 weeks have passed. Yes, you're studying things, and you'll make a decision someday. You had some people here yesterday, and based on what I heard, I wasn't there personally. My understanding is there was a businessman here that I believe has put millions into this county over the last couple of years. The Kachara Inn, the Levite Inn have been restored. There's a wonderful restaurant there called Stiano's. Local burger. They're spending money here. They want winter business. That individual chased our people down the stairs and said, how do we make this happen? How do we get moving? How do we get some winter activity here this year? Or do I just shut everything down like everybody else does up there in the winter? Don't you feel the pain and the interest in getting this right? You can shake your head, Carl, but you've been one of the obstructionists in this process.
Jim, I would strongly encourage you to get on the same page with Panadero Ski Corp. We had an excellent meeting with them. We are planning to move forward. The statements you keep coming and accusing us of and bringing to our attention aren't accurate. I would never say that hearsay and dilly-dallying and all the words that you're using when we're getting legal advice and talking to a tram board.
Why don't you share that with us, if I may?
We try, sir, and you don't listen. So my advice to you would be, let us work with Panadero Ski Corp. We have a great working relationship and we will move forward.
Well, we're not hearing those particulars.
Well, you weren't here yesterday.
I don't believe I was invited.
You were not, because it wasn't a public meeting.
Right. It's between the Panadero Ski Corp. But please quit accusing us of things that aren't accurate. And that's the second time in a row you've done it.
And Jim, just for the record, have you read the engineering report?
Yes, exactly.
I've read some of the engineering reports that they got through a call request, not something that was willingly shared.
They sent it to us, Jim.
It
I'm
came
sorry?
from them.
It came from them.
Okay,
It's their engineering report.
okay, but there was also a call request of who sent what to whom.
Okay, but you need to
Yes.
get on the same page with Panadero Ski Corp is my suggestion.
What I would suggest is that you consider, as a board, taking the noble step to give the park back to the Kachara Foundation. Let the Kachara Foundation and Panadero Ski Corp get on with their good work, safe work, and plans unencumbered by the county's either lack of interest, support, or I would submit maybe even incompetency on this. The only real concern I've heard to doing so is assuring GOCO in Huerfano County that the Kachara Foundation will maintain the assets they helped fund. And I think a contract could be drafted very quickly that would secure those assets and make sure that they're cared for in perpetuity, and please GOCO. And I believe Panadero Ski Corp has reached out to them and asked that very question. And their answer was that should be no problem.
We reached out.
No
We don't
further
believe that was the
studying.
answer.
No need for lawyers to be inquiring minds on this. There's never been even a Band-Aid applied in that part. Let's get this done. It's your move. What's your decision? How about some action? Thank you.
Please.
One thing I wanted to tell you guys that.
Please state your name again. for-
Ken Clayton, 711 Panadero.
Thank you.
Lou. PSC treasurer. I shared with Carl yesterday and the other people that were on the committee that we have checked off the final box for the OREC grant that you guys are a co-applicant on. We had the state required cultural history survey done last week. We should have a report submitted to the state within 2 more weeks. We are told by the OREC, our OREC contact that, shortly after that, we should be able to start drawing funds from that grant. We have I think it's $162,000 that is slated for Lift 4. The rest going to some meetings. So we are eager to have that opportunity to spend that money up there. And I wanted you guys to know that. I'm sure you did, but I told it to Carl yesterday and we wanted to tell it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So to recap on yesterday, although we don't have a formal decision, and we probably won't have one until next week, it was brought to our attention that there is pipe laying there that needs to be laid, and it'd be better for it to be laid into the ground before it freezes. And so there was 2 proposed requests, for Panadero Ski Corp to continue, one with the, laying of the pipe to allow for snowmaking. And 2, to talk about the repairs to the lift. So those were 2 things we had already planned to bring to the board today. But needed to speak about that. I don't know what that looks like in regards to insurance or, liability. I do firmly believe if we move forward with Panadero Ski Corp, we should have someone as a liaison or a supervisor to the tram board, Panadero Ski Corp, and to our board. So we can make sure that things are being followed correctly. But I don't know if either or both of those are decisions this board wants to make today, or wait till next week where we can talk a little bit more about what happened yesterday. And I don't know if you want to elaborate any more on the outcome of the interviews yesterday. I know it's not.
If you guys are going to give the park back, I don't see a reason to keep going with the work that still has to be done for that RFQ. I think you have all the information that I have, right? I don't know there's much more I can advise you on. They were asked to start work on the lift. The snowmaking equipment, at least in my head, is not the lift.
Agreed.
But also the lease was always going to expire November 1st.
Yeah.
Now then, there was a change of direction there, sure. But to my knowledge, if you're going to keep the park and you're going to continue with this, quite honestly, should they be working on it? Should they not be working on it? Do they have the engineered plans? Yes, you've all seen those already. You saw the engineer's report. You saw the correspondence that I got from PSC denying that any break had happened, that it was a little bitty break, and the engineering report saying that, oh, it wasn't a little bitty break, and it was caused by someone not knowing what they're doing.
Right.
So I think I need direction from you guys on what direction you want to go. And all that's available via core request. You can core request every single email I have ever received from Panadero Ski Corporation. I think you'll find it fascinating, both in terms of the ways that they have worked with us in the past and this incident, which I feel like is overblown by silly politics. I think we as the county took steps. We have to, if we're going to work with PSC, we have to rebuild a trust relationship. Quite frankly, they represented something that feels to me like a falsehood, but it could be a difference of opinion, difference of perspective.
Right.
They say they're getting one thing from the tram board, we are getting another.
Right.
I think the tram board wants us to be the bad guy, so they don't have to. Regardless, the decision is either rebuild the trust or get rid of the park. I think if you keep the park, it's going to be rebuild the trust because these folks are members of the community.
Mhm.
I have dealt with folks that run county facilities from my time and tenure here. Mistakes get made. Things get broken that shouldn't have been broken. Accidents happen. We work together on them. This is a 1-year relationship. And quite honestly, if at the first sign of trouble, it's give us the park back, get out of it, maybe you should. And let the chips fall where they may. But this is one county. And this one county is Gardner, it is Walsenburg, it is Levita, and it is Cachara. And my only concern is that I don't know where the chips will fall with GoCo if we give this park back to them, because there are 2 provisions. Provision 1, which Jim referenced earlier, is that we have to keep the park open to the public and running. We have to maintain the facilities that GoCo funded. Provision 2 is we have to own the park for 25 years. Those are the 2 provisions, one of which would clearly be violated here. GoCo in their contract spells out they have various remedies for breach of the contract. They can let us out of it, but they can also say that the county is no longer eligible for GoCo grants.
And we did reach out for clarity and they haven't responded.
They have responded. I forwarded that email to you guys on November 2nd when I received it. GoCo essentially said, oh, you want to, I can put on the screen, respond to you and then you can share with others. One thing to consider with transfer of ownership is if GoCo funds were to be applied for in the future, we will require the county to have some sort of ownership or public access agreement. The foundation will not be able to apply for GoCo grants on their own, even if they had the property open to the public. Another thing to consider is with a formal request to transfer, we would have to evaluate the previous grant awarded. We would of course do our best to be as flexible as we can, but in some cases, it can require payback of certain funds. Not that it would in this case, but that would be evaluated and sometimes a possibility. All that being said is that we would not hold you back if the county decided to sell or convey ownership. Is it possible to look into some sort of lease management agreement with the foundation? It might be easier for the county to keep the property and ownership, but transfer the management to the foundation could be an easier route than a real estate transfer. Happy to chat more about this, and I pass this up the chain to get more thoughts and info from GoCo leadership. Please do forward the information to Commissioner Galusha, who reached out by phone. Talk to you soon. Christopher Abbey, Program Officer, Southern Front Range, Great Outdoors, Colorado.
So we had good interviews yesterday, and I think we have good potentials and great plans. I understand the sense and urgency of wanting to get rid of the park and rid of any liability and get rid of the headache that we seem to have constantly for something that should be enjoyable. I'm with Carl that not only are some of the emails inappropriate, a lot of the phone calls are inappropriate, and so it's hard to deal with a board that is very rude and disrespectful and abrupt and abrasive. And so if we rebuild this trust, which I think we can, I would encourage those players not be a part of the board and the conversations. I think it is much easier for this county to say, here you go, Char Foundation, you deal with it, because this has been nothing pleasurable for us. But I also feel like as a county, that would be a detriment to our citizens, because boards change hands. And although the Kachara Foundation board right now is sound, they may not always be. And in my professional opinion as a realtor, it just takes a handful of people to get elected to take a direction opposite of what it was intended. And I would hate to see that with Kachara Mountain Park. For example, if citizens got together, all joined the board, made all the decisions and decided, let's close it to the public. Let's not have it what it's supposed to be. Let's keep it for our own intentions. I've seen that with HOAs, and that could be done with the board. So that is my biggest hesitation in giving it to the foundation. Not that the current foundation couldn't take care of it, but what does it look like in the next 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year? So I think it is best suited to stay with county, although I don't think any of the three of us want to continue with it because it's been such a headache. I think Panadera Ski Corp, if you have a liaison that knows, not so to speak an engineer, but knows what needs to be done, and that liaison can be the point contact from the tram board to the county to the board, maybe we can get some things accomplished. In receiving the emails that I'm receiving, the tram board is saying this, the board is taking it, for example, tram board is saying no, the board's taking it as a maybe or a potential yes. And so I think you have a breakdown in the interpretation of what's being received, and that's why we're reading it one way and they're reading it another. And I think it's not, I hope it's not intentional. I hope it's because everyone's so passionate about it. But we can't look past that. And there are some major legal issues that we need to look at. It is not hearsay. But I think that we can probably rebuild that relationship, but it will take some time. So my opinion would be keep the park under the purview of the county. Work closely with Panadera Ski Corp to rebuild that trust on a very professional level moving forward. Get a liaison to bridge that gap. But in the meantime, at least at a minimum, allow them to lay that pipe to get ski making capabilities going. And open for discussion if we want them to continue with the repairs to the lift or not, until we can find that person who can oversee the project.
May I say a couple more words?
Yes, please.
That's okay.
And Clayton 711 Panadera Loop, Panadera Ski Corp. Commissioner Andrietta, your fears about the Kachara Foundation board are the exact same fears we have about the next county commissioners, if it's not you.
Sure.
So we have that same concern, but coming from a neighbor, I mean, a neighbor of the park, that scares the heck out of me.
And I understand that and appreciate that. However, commissioners change hands at different times in their elected positions. Hopefully your administrator will have some consistency. And if we are not representing the interest of our constituents, we can easily be removed and we cannot be reelected. So I think that's the safe hold where the citizens have a say on who's representing their interests. We're on a board. It is up to the board.
I agree with you 100%. That's not why I want to come up, but I
Sure,
want
yeah.
to say that.
I agree.
You know, it was brought up yesterday that it would be a good idea to have a third party sitting on our meetings, reporting back to you. You know, we discussed that last night. And what we would suggest is that it's someone who has ski industry knowledge. You know, I can't speak for the board, but I look at this as a win-win situation. Either it goes back to the CF and we work with the CF, or we hopefully you give it back to us to Ron and we work with you. You know, to me, as a resident next to the park, that's a win. So we would welcome, you know, a third party skier industry rep sitting in with us. You know, I can tell you that one of the things we did present also yesterday is that we have one of the vendors recommended from the state tram board has agreed to be on a retainer with the PSC. So he is going to be our go-to for any and every question our maintenance crews have. We're trying to satisfy every safety concern you guys have.
Sure.
You know, it was an accident and it was a bad accident when, you know, the lift broke. If you talk to Gerald Lindsay from Alpine Roost, he has seen it before because it's an old lift and they're not engineered to be worked on like they are today. So we admit that. But again, if it comes back to us, we'll work with whoever you guys want us to work through to build that trust back.
But you've already defined that relationship.
Yes, we've already paid him to come to the park to do the initial assessment at Carl's request.
And he will communicate with the tram board.
Oh yeah, he came highly recommended from. Yeah.
Good.
My contact at the tram board that I spoke to, he was the second person after the accident up there. He was on vacation when the accident happened. He put me in touch with another engineer at SCJ. When my contact got back in town, he called me back, said, you need to reach out to these guys. They specialize in your types of lifts. They do it all over the Rockies, and they go out and rehab these old lifts. And you know, he left that mountain the first day he was ever saying this thing is in phenomenal shape compared to what he normally works on. Again, we just want to take a seat at the table to talk about this with you guys.
Sure.
So thank you.
Thank you. I know you disagree.
I
Hear
do
it.
disagree.
Let's talk about it.
So I would really like to see us begin the process of transferring the ownership back to the foundation. I don't think that the county has the resources to do this. I don't think we have anything. We don't have the money to put into this. The GoCo issue is the sticky issue for me. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, we could do this through irrevocable letter of credit that says if it's not in compliance with the GoCo requirements, then you pay GoCo back the grant money. Whatever we need to do, I think we need to start the process of reverting ownership back to the foundation. The one caveat I would throw in there is I think that another condition of that should be if it's not maintained for public benefit, then it reverts back to the county at no cost. Yes, Chris, please.
Chris Smith, 1120 Panadero Avenue.
Thank you.
I agree with John completely that that caveat could be put into the deed as a restriction. And I think I just needed to make sure that everybody knows that we are committed to that being public park. So in the meantime, I would say I would like to see you extend what PSC has got going so they can continue instead of waiting. And I know that may not have to be an agenda item, but this is really old business. So possibly give them another 2 years, give them 3 years or something. And in the meantime, if ownership changes, we'll deal with that if we have to. But they have to keep going. If they're going to make snow and continue on with trying to have winter activities, they're going to have to get moving now. we're gonna, we've already got some on the forecast for this week. So just needed to say that.
Thank you.
And
You got any questions for me?
I would add that the primary reason, in my opinion, that the foundation deeded the property to Huerfano County was because we had a county commissioner that was the assistant director of the state parks
Yes.
department. And I believe that expertise helped us accept that park with the understanding that we would have some guidance going forward. We don't have that guidance. We don't have the expertise. And we're not, I don't believe, built to operate ski areas. I don't think we're.
I did talk to Max about that. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. And I got into a good conversation with him about it, and he was interested in trying to help. And then his wife found out about it. So he's retired. But he would still work with phone calls on certain issues that we had to figure out how to work through. But yeah, you're right. He was a major player.
Exactly.
Adam, can you read those comments, please? Or scroll down so we can read them. Is that the only?
I think so. There's something we just have to read this one, we'll scroll back at the beginning.
Go ahead. And that's it.
I think what Sandy was asking about was an action item. Earlier, from earlier.
I think Chris is right. I think that this is an ongoing issue. I asked our attorney and our administrator if it would be acceptable to take some kind of action on this today or give direction.
Which action and which direction?
Well, that's not for me to say.
Well, you
Are you talking about
can
the-
always give staff direction. You can't sign a contract or, without it being on the agenda, but you can give staff direction without an agenda, without being on the agenda. And I think to tell us to prepare something for you is in order always.
So what would your direction to staff be?
I think my direction today is the board okay with them continuing with laying the pipe for the snowmaking? That's something it seems like they could start working on today if we allowed it. My question would be, is there any, because it is an expired contract, I know we had a renewal created. Do we need something in writing? Is they have insurance? What does that look like legally? For them to continue? And second question, would people be in favor of them continuing on the lift in the meantime until we decide what the direction of the park is? Because we did receive 2 concessionaire applications, and we do, I believe, owe it to those concessionaires to at least have a discussion about what took place yesterday. And we could do that today, we can do that now, it doesn't matter when. But my immediate concern is, should they get snowmaking going, and should they continue in the lift or not?
What would your direction to staff be?
Well, I think they need to be able to continue. I believe the time is important to be able to continue laying some of the pipe and things like that, but I do believe we need to make sure of the GOCO and give solid consideration to what we talked about yesterday. But I don't want to slow them down on doing things that are very important right now to keep it, because time is of the essence for the season.
And normally I would say I'm not comfortable with any work being done on the lift, but if they have a consultant in place, which it sounds like they do, that was the major concern and why we halted the.
In the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So my thoughts on that. Number one, I apologize. I had a VA appointment yesterday. I was unable to attend the meeting. So I think we need to bring that out and have a discussion about whatever would happen in the meeting yesterday.
Sure.
I don't think it's fair, my personal opinion, I don't think it's fair to PSC to tell them, go ahead and lay the pipe. Without them having some assurance that they're gonna be there in the future. So my thought is, let's move towards turning this back over to the foundation, give with staff direction. Getting a contract in place, not stop PSC, not stop the foundation, just make sure that we have GoCo addressed either two ways with irrevocable letter of credit to GoCo, and a condition in the deed that requires it may be maintained for public use. And I think that satisfies the GoCo requirement of under the control of the applicant. And then bring the foundation in for a discussion about who the operator would be for the concession if that was moved forward with.
Is
So
it
I would like
inappropriate to speak to the general consensus of the board, the hiring panel from yesterday?
I think so.
Okay.
That's my general take on that. Usually what happens is we formulate a recommendation and then we and then bring that to you officially. That includes that. But that said, if you guys want to have that discussion, see your policies.
But just Carl and I were there, John was not, so that's where the hang up is.
I'm having a little bit of issue reconciling today versus yesterday.
Sure.
So that's part of why I'm hesitating. So I agree with John that I think it is unfair to PSC to ask them to go lay pipe that they're doing, and then we could keep the park and kick them out.
But the direction of Panadero Ski Corp is to improve the park for the potential of skiing, so
Correct.
we would love to see you continue if you continue, but if they didn't, that's still within their vision of.
If we don't get a notice.
Sorry.
And 7-Eleven Panadero, the PSC. If we don't get the notice to proceed, I mean, we have two options. As we stated yesterday, we support activity at the park. We want to run it, but ultimately, we just want that park open if it's not us. You know, if a new concessionaire comes, they don't want snowmaking. I mean, we don't know what to do with our assets at this point.
Right.
There's $16,000 in pipe that we purchased based off of us reviewing the previous MOU. You know, it very obviously talked in that the intent was to enter into a multi-year agreement with us. So we spent that money. You know, internally, we've had a discussion of what do we do with our assets if you know, it doesn't come back to us, it doesn't go to the CF. I think ultimately we would give what we could to the CF so that they were in a position at some point, if you guys come to them, they could then find people to run the park. But we need to know that pipe hasn't been installed, in theory it's $16,000. We could sell it and get a portion of that back and get it to the CF or keep it or whatever, but that's our plan. And Carl mentioned this earlier. With the MOU that currently expires before a ski season, it puts a lot of exposure to whoever's running the park as they prep for the fall and the next season.
Okay.
So you tell us what to do. We're looking to guidance from you guys, and we'll do whatever you guys ask us to do.
So if you were the concessionaire with ownership under the county, you would lay the pipe in the ground. If you were not the concessionaire, you would, and it was already laid, there wouldn't be any hard feelings. Or if it went back to foundation.
There would not be hard feelings. Obviously, we believe that the community is better if that park is running. And if snowmaking is an aspect of that, as a neighbor of the park, ultimately I don't care who runs it.
Right.
I mean, we put a lot of time and effort and sweat into that place. But ultimately it's to get it running, not for us to be the concessionaires. We want to be. But if the pipe is in the ground and someone wants to utilize it for snowmaking because they're running the park, I mean, that's a win.
Okay.
If it doesn't go, we're going to sell it because we'd be fools to just leave pipes sitting there, someone will steal it.
I think it would be appropriate to have a very limited contract, so they look like.
Okay, and what about the lift repairs? Because there's minor repairs need to be done for the potential for it to be open, and I think now it's possible Christmas. If you were
Well-
to start today.
So my contact at the train board says there's a very slim chance it'll pass, but there's no harm in us doing it. What it does by us paying the money to get them down here to run that lift through the sets of tests they have to do. If we fail, we now know what we have to do in the spring.
Right.
You know, and God willing, we get that grant, it's all new up there in the spring anyways. We have every intent to try to pay the train board to come down and run it through the test once the repairs are made, because we see it as a win-win. We can haul more people up the mountain. The minute that thing's certified, we can generate more income to lift that thing, or the minute that thing's certified. We have a backup plan to run that ski bus, and we would probably buy a second one and run 80 people a day instead of, 40. But with that lift going, we can sell $40 lift tickets to 200 people a day and start generating some income up there that, as a nonprofit, goes right back into the park. So,
Can I ask a couple questions?
absolutely.
So. Really, this entire discussion is about the ski lift, right? This is the lift and the snowmaking, which, if it's the lift. What about the rest of the park and what about the summer?
So we addressed that yesterday with Carl. We envision, we already have an outdoor classroom up there. We've been contacted by the Walsenburg School District in the last 60 days, where I have to respond and say, I really can't bring your kids up here right now, because there's so much uncertainty as to what's going on. We plan on hosting summer concerts. We don't ever want to be the caveman music festival, but we want a place for people to go, on a Thursday night all summer long, to listen to a local artist or someone from Pueblo. We have plans to capitalize on what Chris does at the Mercantile. He hosts wedding receptions all summer long, or every other third week or whatever it is, but we want to build an outdoor venue so people can get married up on the mountain. People can go have family reunions up on the mountain and then go down to Chris's place. We want to capitalize on what the community already has, so that, we're not recreating and taking business away from him. We're helping him make money. We're helping everyone else that works up there by bringing people into the community. We envision, more kids clinics like Mike Lacey from Twin Peaks, or Peaks brings the kids up there to the pump track. We envision more kids bike clinics, more kids archery tournaments. There's the two big shoots that the Cuchara Valley Archery Foundation puts on. We want more things like that. Ultimately, if we can raise enough money, we want to put mountain biking back in that park. They used to haul bikes up the lift, and they don't do it anymore. The brackets were removed, but that's a big part of it.
Okay, I get it where you're going, but what if the lift never runs?
We will sit there and do our ski bus.
And do everything else in the summer.
Absolutely. It benefits me as a homeowner to do that. It's not good when it's vacant. We were there before Chris bought the place, and it was a disaster. And we don't want that again. Yeah, disc golf tournaments all the time.
So what if we did this for staff direction? I'm asking these my two fellow commissioners here. If we said, go forth and prosper, we want a contract in place until April 1st, make a decision on the RFP in the meantime, or the RFQ, and have a joint meeting with Foundation and see what that would look like. So the progress moves forward. We don't have to do an immediate decision on ownership. Project moves forward. They're in place until April.
Absolutely.
There's no guarantee. So
We talked about May yesterday. Is it through the end of April?
You could be putting all this work in, and then in May, it's over.
And obviously that's not ideal, but again, I'm going to state that it's all about the park, not about us. You know, we have $250,000 coming that we can't spend without you guys. And that goes directly into the park. That's our goal.
Commissioners, that is your direction. That agreement was drafted already.
Yeah.
And I can present it to you next week.
Can they move forward today?
That's up to you.
We've seen their agreement.
Hmm.
We've seen the agreement.
You've seen the agreement.
And it states in there that they have to have some type of guidance, representation, liaison, something to that effect.
It doesn't go into that. It basically has, I included in additional oversight of lift maintenance and construction and different, and requirements for technicians, because part of the complaint we received was that there are folks that weren't certified to work on the lift. Further investigation, there's no such thing as a certification for someone to work on the lift. It's really about time and experience. So Ken earlier said that he wants someone that has ski experience from the county. That is not, I don't think we need that. They have enough experience. The issue is we as a county need to be more involved in what they're doing, more knowledgeable about it, and more and talking more frequently. Because I think the fundamental issue that happened here is a couple of things happened. They reacted one way, no big deal. They're in the trenches working on it, wasn't a big deal. It was a big deal to us. And then the way it was handled after that broke the mutual trust arrangement.
Sure.
We'd be okay with some sort of reporting, you know, conditions in this agreement. I mean,
We talked about that yesterday, so I think we came up with was we would love to have Lester Berry, who's the head of our Parks and Rec, and I would volunteer myself as well to attend your board meetings. And then we can bring that back to the county commissioners, or we'd love to invite you personally to come monthly or
I would love
every
that-
quarter
that's
to
part
give
of
a
the problem.
report.
We weren't talking.
Exactly.
Communication.
We made the fatal flaw or the fatal mistake going with the tram board first, instead of you guys when the big accident took place. So we know that's wrong. We, in hindsight, we should have told you and then told you what our next step was gonna be and found out if that was okay with you. We recognize that, but we're more than willing to sit down with you at every opportunity.
Yeah, Lester and I will plan to be in your next board meeting. I'm not sure when that is, but if you can send us an invite and we'll be there for board meetings after that.
And to be fair, Ken, I don't think the issue was you going to the tram board, is
No.
that it didn't come to us, so it came to us from someone else first.
Yeah.
And then when we inquired about it, the reaction of, you don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Who told you this? This is, you know,
A lot.
where did this come from?
I can.
You're an
promise you
idiot. That's what broke my trust relationship.
I'll go back to being the spokesperson and the communicator with you guys. And
Please.
we'll get forward that way.
Yeah, we would prefer for you to be the
Absolutely. We
spokesperson.
just want to work there.
Can I maybe make a suggestion for discussion that communication with the tram board be a three-way communication and not us calling them and you calling them. So we're calling them together.
Absolutely. I will copy the three of you on every email I send them from here on out.
Okay, phone calls too, though.
Okay.
You know,
We'll do it all. We can do it by, yeah, if you guys are willing to hop on a phone call, we welcome that as well.
Do it regularly. So, yeah.
so what's pleasure?
No.
Can I say
Please.
I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, probably better.
Come up here and there's a microphone up here.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they can hear you online if you use the microphone.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Steve Godsey. I live at 430 Panadero Loop. I'm an outsider. I've just been there for a couple of years, and so I don't know. I'm learning a lot today by being here. So, but it seems like we all have the same interest. We'd like to see the area developed. We'd also like to see kids be able to go skiing in this county. And I'm just one of many donors that have given, you know, a substantial amount of money to facilitate getting the lift going. And I don't say this disrespectfully, but you know, we haven't had our road graded in
8 months or so on the loop. It's pretty rough. And it goes back to what you said, John, is we're not a big, rich county. And so this kind of a undertaking is, I think I feel privileged to have people like Ken and Jim and Chris, amazing people who have given so much of their time to make this happen. And I know trust is important, but I think we all need to just take a deep breath and say, you know, we feel passionately about this, and sometimes it's going to have rough edges, but I really appreciate what you said, John, that I feel like these men and just the whole community have demonstrated that they're operating in good faith, and we have the energy and the desire to make it happen, and I think you can trust us. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody comfortable with the staff direction yet? Have one. Go for it.
I would make a motion to direct staff and the attorney to formalize the agreement to extend the arrangement between the county and Panador Ski Corp until the 1st of May. Adding into that agreement that a professional liaison needs to help bridge the gap between Panador Ski Corp and Tram. I have further comments, but I think that's it for the motion.
Yeah, I would second that with, I'm not sure what you mean by professional liaison, but
It's just,
in terms of,
it's Greek for us to
communication.
try to talk to a tram board, right? So when you have to have someone who says, this is what the tram board wants, and this is how you implement it. This is their desire, and this is how we turn that to fruition, because that's where the disconnect is. The tram board is saying one thing, people are interpreting it differently.
Yeah.
On Panador Ski Corp and also on the county side. So you have to have someone who has that good relationship, who understands exactly what they're wanting to make sure that nothing is, but you have that person in place already. I just want to make sure that it's stated in the contract appropriately, because I don't have it in front of me.
And Carl, are you okay with Gerald Lindsay from Roost Alpine Services?
I was actually going to suggest your engineers.
They're about
Expensive.
6 times more expensive per hour.
Yeah, I haven't met Joe Lindsay. We got your certifications, and I trust he's qualified.
But he's basically reading the plans of the
Engineers.
engineers
Yes.
and communicating it back to the tram board. So I think you're safe there. If this person is qualified, I've never heard of them.
The tram board necessarily needs constant communication.
Right.
I think there needs to be someone who understands tram board code
Yes.
and regulation,
And
and making sure that that's being followed.
both the engineers, SCJ that we've worked with at the request of the tram board, and Alpine Roost Services, which is owned by Gerald Lindsay, they both came to us through the tram board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with that. And then just for point of discussion, just to reiterate, we would love for you to be the point of contact and the sole point of contact. For you to communicate with Carl, and then Carl can communicate with us as he sees fit. I will be present at your board meetings, and so will Lester Berry, so we can get us those invitations. And then we can get something on the calendar if you feel like it's necessary for the Panador Ski Corp to come in to report to the rest of the commission on a monthly meeting or a quarterly meeting.
yeah,
Okay, you're good with that motion?
correct,
And you're good with the second?
yes.
Okay. Could you restate that motion, Carl?
No, that was a discussion. He already said it. That was just a discussion.
So what I have is a motion for myself and the county attorney to finalize an agreement with PSC to run through May 1st, and to strengthen some language about liaison with between PSC and the tram board, as well as between the county and PSC.
And your insurance has not lapsed.
No, it's up for renewal on December 1st.
Thank you.
We've kept that money in reserve just for that.
Okay, are you comfortable with that, with what you just heard?
Absolutely. I think that I don't hear a discussion about now giving the park back to the CF. And
We're going to talk about that further.
Okay.
So, Chris, are you comfortable with what you just heard?
Yeah,
Okay,
we just like to see some progress, it's all about, like everybody said, it's all about being a part, so especially public access.
okay, so I would,
You're approving work on lift as well. I think that puts you at risk of significant things.
So what if,
wait, why?
Because there will be an official complaint that will be investigated.
So if they work on the lift, they've been working on the lift for years now. Why would now be different? Why would that cause a complaint?
Because there was a
It
complaint.
would cause, now it is something.
so if I may,
Please.
Please.
and I'm going to speak out of turn here. I heard that from that first conversation with the tram board, same thing that Lisa did about there being a cause for investigation, right? But I still don't know what it is. And part of me says, if there has to be a bad guy here, I'd rather not be it. I think there are ways that we might be able to mitigate any tram board concerns that might exist from a complaint. Whether that means us getting more involved in oversight. But at this point, I feel like we're boxing a ghost.
So I'm gonna say that if, as long as they're not spinning that lift with somebody on it, why can't they work on it? Because they're gonna have the tram board down to do a full inspection, they have the engineering drawings correct for the repairs.
Carl has it.
So if they do the work without spinning that lift with anybody on it,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what Lisa's, referring to, and they got that information from me. And so
And what information is that?
what I told Brooksfield, the tram board, regarding a lift evac training,
And what was that?
that we performed a lift evac training, and actually we have an email from the former and now retired board member of the tram board allowing us to do that training, which it came from an old board member, so it's taken me 2 weeks to get it, but that's part I have to give that to Brooks. So
So
we're aware of that.
there was a potential for an investigation which would result in a $10,000 fine to the county. The investigation was put on hold when we cease and desist. That was the purpose of the cease and desist. So what they're saying is if we move forward and revoke the cease and desist, we could be in trouble with the tram board. But I think a conversation with Panadero Ski Corp, the attorney, Carl, I'm happy to be present to make sure they know what our direction is and the tram board gives us our blessing before we finalize that. I think that could, shore up some of the issues.
so if we could get an email from the tram board that says that they recognize that they're not putting passengers on the tram, on the lift, they are authorized to make the repairs to the lift,
Nothing will be done to the.
and then we can.
They're not gonna make that.
But see, that's the thing.
They're not gonna rate that.
As a regulatory agency, they have a
But
duty to tell us what rules we violated,
Yeah.
and they keep avoiding doing that.
Right.
that's
And
what
that's
we gotta
what
get to the
bothers me.
bottom of before we finalize the work on the lift. So
They
I,
go to a complaint that they're going to investigate. They've got 5 or 6 witnesses. It's slow going
right.
because they're trying to be very careful about it.
So their slow going is coming back on us.
Yeah,
But they,
That's a problem.
they're supposed to talk about it in their next meeting, which is next month.
No, it's a February.
It's a recorder.
Oh,
good evidence.
so the information came out to after the agenda was prepared, so they're talking about it in February. So I think we should just open it up for discussion. And don't do anything to the lift, so we talk to the tram board, but move forward with laying the pipe, would that be?
That's what you're gonna let us do, absolutely.
I don't think the pipe is really, in my understanding, I don't feel that was ever part of your stop work order.
Yeah, I
The
just,
stop order was.
Was on the
stop
lift.
work is on the lift.
right,
I have to see why you guys could have interpreted it that way too. Like, I don't think I heard about snow pipe until relatively recently, so.
So rather than wait till February, can we try to schedule a call for all of us?
Yes, I think we
I
should.
think that's ideal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so
They
what I,
will call it the transport.
Yep.
They're not gonna tell us anything.
We can try.
At a certain point with a regulatory agency, they won't tell you what you've done wrong. They won't tell you how to fix it. And they're just telling you, you know, the best way to do it is to kick these folks out. Part of me says you should invite the complaint.
yeah, let's.
Yeah, exactly.
I would very much like to have
That
a
is
discussion.
bad legal advice.
I would.
That is very bad legal advice.
So I think I'd be comfortable extending the contract through April or May, whatever, so long as we say, work on the lift.
Until we pass the transport.
Please do everything else. Let's get that worked out. Let's see how that plays out.
So can we
Is that
include
fair?
that in the agreement?
So if we can get a solid confirmation from the tram board, if we can, I know you're saying that we can't. If we can, what would keep us from allowing that? I mean, so can we put that in the agreement if we
Yeah,
have?
caveat, if we
Right.
get something from the tram board.
If
So
we
No
we
work
have-
can be done until we,
What if you leave the agreement open, but also keep the stop work order on the lift in place?
Yeah.
Until we talk to the tram board, and
That's
we
fine.
try to talk to them sooner rather than later. And if they play hopscotch with us, they play hopscotch with them, and you can make a decision then.
right,
But I think it's on them to be able to tell us, to give us something.
sure.
And granted, maybe they operate differently than other regular agencies I've dealt with, but like I said, I feel like we're being asked to be the cop without being given all the information.
This just pushes my inclination to give it back to the family.
But also, it's also a chance there that if you do that, they could, the boogeyman is in the closet, right? If you give it back to them, you could still be liable.
See, and I see it the other way, like
Because
we
it
have,
happened on
we
your,
have
on
an
your own.
attorney, we have commissioners, we have an administrator, we
No,
can.
We can absolve ourselves of liability in the contract. And as there is with all conditions.
Yeah. And
We would work for it.
yeah, I saw it.
We read it earlier, thank you.
We don't care who we work for. I mean, obviously, we like the idea that if it goes back to the foundation, because foundation is local up there. But we just want to work.
And we just
And I
want,
think you guys know.
I think we all have the same vision in all three, Panadero Ski Corp, Sheriff Foundation and County Commissioners, so it should be an easy solution to figure out.
Perfect.
If we can keep our personalities in check
I will do my best on my side.
and stop going to the Gazette.
That wasn't, you did not see me quoted in the Gazette.
It's just, there's so many positive things going on, we don't need to invite negativity, so
We get
that
calls
was
all the
hard
time,
to
and
do.
we had intentionally not gone public with anything.
Right.
like that.
Let's
We
keep
don't
it
wanna put
that
you
way.
guys in a bad space.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? And we're clear on the motion.
Crystal.
So the motion is gonna be to finalize the agreement for PSC until May 1st with what you call it? A liaison, professional liaison. You will be the point of contact and a stop worker order in place unless we can get written clarification from the traffic board. Got it? You're good? Everybody's good? Lisa? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andrietta,
Yes,
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner.
thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, we do correspondence still.
Yes.
Oh, correspondence.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Well, the last time we had this, we didn't do
So,
correspondence,
Yeah,
so
we're gonna take a 5-minute recess until 12:05.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for your time, Chris.
With the Sheriff Foundation, call me anytime.
All right.
We're all on the same.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for taking the time to reach out today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
Do you wanna
Where you want?
rest for 5 minutes or we wanna? We're going shorter. Okay.
Where you gotta go?
I head against the wall and see. Find a nice strong pillar that's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
Here, John, you can decide where we're going when you start it. I gotta go to bed.
I just happened to show up, I thought, it's 9:10, I get here at 9, it's like, you know, I got minutes, we've got to talk about, like, oh my God,
Yeah, we need-
every day, what a mess.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
You
I
may-
mean, what's wrong with Jane?
We'll just put him on top, because the nine are down there, when she knows those are going to be. We want them on numbers.
We want TC, Georgia's, or somebody, or
I think there's a. Sounds cool to me.
so we want,
Then there's a George.
we got them all online. Chip salad. Georgia's.
Ooh, nice catch. Sam, you want this with the? Yeah. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Very patient with me. I appreciate that.
It just, it's gotta be an easy solution. Everyone wants the same thing. You just gotta figure it out, right? Want a drink?
Whiskey. No. I-
Can I get what?
You did. Didn't do it.
I did it, not me.
No idea. Just- They gotta click the mic,
Click on what?
the mic.
They did.
Okay, the recess is over. Apologize for the extra time there. Let's move into the correspondence, please.
Commissioners, first I have for you a technical update from TTSI on FSAs, HRAs, and HSAs. And then another technical update on office ergonomic tips to prevent pain. 9C is your CAP monthly report. 9D is your Gardner Water and Sanitation monthly report. 9E is your Bocc Water monthly report. 9F is an invitation from First National Bank of Trinidad, the Huerfano County branch, for their 24 open house or their annual open house and 2024 calendar distribution. 9G is a thank you letter from the Spanish Peaks Veterans Community Living Center. 9H is the Treasurer's Monthly Report. 9H, excuse me, and that is the end of correspondence.
Questions? No need for executive session, right?
I think that was everything we might have had. We just had an open session.
Is there anything else for the commissioner meeting? We are adjourned. We have an upcoming meeting at 1 p.m. with Huerfano, Los Animas counties, the district attorney and health department budget. The district attorney has declined to participate. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.